These stairs have been here for at least 20 years and stupid things are busted. So I'm going to need to get 3 5.5-foot planks, 2 runners, and a support bar that goes across the back. I can do that. I started working and I forgot to start filming, and I'm not gonna redo the work that I've done by buying new stuff. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. What I've got here is 2 runners, and I need 3 steps. When I started, they were 4-step runners because they come in 4, 6, and 8. But it's easy enough to fix it, and that's now a 3-step runner. There's the 3-step runner. Now, you can see that if I nail it there, that's just not going to hold. So what we're going to do instead is notch out a bit and put that in. Well, not that. That's silly. That is just a piece of wood for a side brace to check the distance and put a map on the runner. There. Okay, that's what we're going to use. And we're going to nail it onto that support and that support. And where we're going to nail it is so that the top of that okay, 6 inches below 5.5, we're going to nail it so that it is, well, that would be too low. So we're going to nail it at 10 inches below the deck. Okay? With that piece of wood nailed from there to there, we'll then be able to say, hey, where do we want to cut the notch in the runner? This is the notch for support of the runner itself. The flat parts on the top, those are for, yeah, there's my steps. They're sitting on the porch. Got a lot of good they're doing up there. So let's get her done. Let's see what comes next. There we go. Nailed there and there. And that is jolly well level. Yep, it's bedazzled with oaky marks. I don't care. And also, I found another project. The front corner of that floorboard needs to be replaced, which means the whole thing needs to be replaced. Well, not doing it this pass. First step is to get the steps. It's gonna look like that. And underneath that last bit of runner, we're gonna put a brick. That way it doesn't sink into the sand. The reason I wanted to tilt out, or down and out from the front, is I want the rain to have a chance to escape. And that would bring the rain under the porch. There we go. About there. And we'll mark it. And we'll notch it. Okay? There I've marked for the notch. And there's sweat drips all over because it's 90 degrees out and 100% humidity. Welcome to Florida. I want to get this at least in place so I can lay a couple of the steps on so that people can come to my house. Although on the other hand, they can come around to the back door like everyone does. Let's see if we can get her done today. Oh yeah, I'm gonna notch that baby. The front one, straightforward. That one, did not go through. Wah. That's the problem with a rounded blade. Okay, I've got 90% of the work done. Now I have to go old school with a straight saw. As long as I don't cut my nuts off. Looks good to me. Looks bad to me. Oh well. A little more carving. Wah. Pretty. It is so 90 degrees. There we go. That's where it's going to live. And at this end, I'm going to scoop out a little bit of sand and lay a brick and level it with the brick. But it's ready to be leveled, okay? Enough of this nonsense. Wah! It was suggested to me that rather than a regular brick, I use a chunk of concrete. And yeah, that works just fine. The concrete is flat and level, even if it's not perfectly aligned with the runner. The flat and level is the important bit. It's not nailed into place. It's still freestanding. I'll run a screw in from the back side and hold that in place. Now this one, haven't notched it yet, but I will. And I will level it with the footer so that these two are level with each other. That way, when I put those big, beautiful steps on, the steps will be level as well. I might be a crooked man, but I'm not going to have a crooked house. Got the runners in place. Drilled the hole through the board, and from the back, I screwed in some deck screws. That ain't working. That's the way you do it. However, from that side to that side, there's about an inch of slope. I don't know, you might not have seen it if I didn't point it out, but still, it's not perfect. And yet, it's gonna be better for getting up onto the deck than it would have been if there were no stairs there, because I have been using a plank to walk up, and that's no fun. 2 more stairs to attach. Got them up on the deck, and I'm sweating like a whore in church. It's just, I need my shower. Attaching another step. That side is done. 9 inches to the outside of the board. A little bit more here, but it's got to match to the railing. Anyway, the problem is, and I have pre-drilled the holes, the correct way to do this, never mind if you pre-drill or not, you're supposed to start with the bottom step. Reason being, as you get higher up, there is an overlap, and when you go to drill, that gets in the way, and that limits the distance or the closeness you can get. Probably about there, and as you can see, that's a 2-inch, and that's a 1-inch. 1 inch is definitely more secure because a lot of the pressure is going to be lifting the back of that board. So the traditional and accurate way to do it is on the top step, you just tag a 2x4 across so that the whole thing just doesn't wobble. It gives it stability, and then you start at the bottom and work your way up. Wah. I didn't. Also, we're losing the light, but on the other hand, we're gaining coolness from the evening, so still gonna need a shower. You have to select which side of the board you want to go where. Those are milling marks. Those are from the sawmill. Not uncommon. Okay, so I would rather that bit of inglorious wood be on the other side. It doesn't change the strength, but it does change the beauty. That side's okay. Yeah, I need a touch more paint, but that doesn't matter. Let's see what we got here. It's got a grip mark from where it was held for cutting, and another grip mark. But other than that, that one looks pretty clean. And if you come up this barefoot, you don't want spikes in your foot. And 9 inches, 9 inches. Pretty cool. Got that one right on a first toss. Not what happens all the time, but happily this time I got it. All right, I'm going to drill some holes, attach some screws, and then it's wine o'clock. Stairs are in. Still a lot of sawdust from where I did some cutting, and I've got to clean up the walkway. But you know what? The stairs are up and the mosquitoes are out. So I'm going to call it enough for one night. Wine o'clock, and then a shower. Or a shower, then wine o'clock. What do you suggest? Well, there's the new steps. They're solid. Good enough. I can walk on that. And there's still all kinds of tools left out. And that deck just does not look the same color as the steps. So even the steps are going to need a second coat, preferably before the rain comes. And the tools need to get put away. So last step, as always, put away the tools. Might want to sweep the bricks, kick a little bit more sand down there because I can see the support. And another coat. Another coat's going to happen on a day without rain. Maybe even get some of that deck. Until then, put away the tools. Yeah, I can do that. Job's done. There's that front step set with a new coat of paint. And I even painted that top board for the porch. I'm going to replace it because it's cracked. And that has to get done. But first, paint it, make it pretty. I painted the beam that supports the deck, so that's all pretty. Everything is happy. That chore's done. Except I need to paint the banister, and there's no point in painting the banister until I pressure wash it. Wah, it's always something. Alright, front steps are done.